The words hit me like a slap across the face in that overpriced downtown restaurant. My wife Kim sat there, perfectly manicured fingers wrapped around her third glass of wine, smirking at me like I was some kind of joke. Her sister Jessica and their mutual friends Tessa and Lauren were practically cackling at the table. "Seriously, Owen," Kim continued, her voice dripping with that condescending tone I'd grown to hate. "You're just not worth my time anymore. Look at you. Insurance claims adjuster at 42, still driving that beat-up Honda. When was the last time you even tried to impress me?" The restaurant felt like it was spinning. This was supposed to be my birthday dinner. I'd made reservations at Kim's favorite place, worn my best shirt, even bought her flowers earlier that day. And here she was, publicly humiliating me in front of her enablers. Jessica leaned forward, her Botoxed face twisted into a cruel smile. "Kim's right, Owen. She deserves better than this." She gestured at me dismissively. "My sister could have married anyone. Remember Brad from college? He's a surgeon now. Makes $500,000 a year." "Or that guy Rick from her work," Tessa chimed in, taking another sip of her Cosmos. "He drives a Mustang, takes care of himself, actually has ambition." Lauren nodded enthusiastically. "Rick's so hot. I mean, no offense, Owen, but when's the last time you hit the gym?" I sat there, my birthday cake untouched, watching these women tear me apart like vultures. Kim was loving every second of it. Her eyes were bright with malicious glee as she watched me squirm. "The thing is," Kim said, leaning back in her chair, "I've outgrown this whole domestic thing. I need excitement, passion, someone who can actually keep up with me intellectually and physically." My hands were shaking as I reached for my wallet. I could feel the stares from other tables, the whispered conversations. Everyone in this place was witnessing my complete and utter humiliation. "You know what, ladies?" I said quietly, pulling out my credit card. "Dinner's on me. Happy birthday to me, right?" I stood up, threw down enough cash to cover the bill and a generous tip, and walked out without another word. Behind me, I could hear them laughing. Kim's voice carried across the restaurant. "God, he's so pathetic. Can't even take a joke." Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. The drive home was a blur. My phone buzzed constantly with texts, but I ignored them. I pulled into our driveway and sat in my car for 20 minutes, just staring at the house Kim and I had bought together 5 years ago. The house where we'd planned to raise kids, the house that now felt like a prison. Inside, I poured myself 3 fingers of bourbon and sat in my home office. That's when I decided to do something I'd never done before. I opened Kim's laptop. She'd left it on the kitchen counter, still logged into everything, her email, her social media, her messaging apps. And what I found there made my blood run cold. Months of messages with Rick Dalton, her co-worker from the PR firm, photos I definitely wasn't supposed to see, videos that made me want to throw the laptop across the room. But the worst part was the group chat with her friends, including Jessica. "Owen's so clueless," one message read. "Rick and I were literally making out in his car while Owen was inside buying groceries." "You should just divorce him already," Jessica had written. "Take half his stuff and move in with Rick. At least he knows how to satisfy a woman." "The sex is incredible," Kim had replied. "Rick actually has muscles and stamina. Poor Owen thinks 5 minutes is foreplay." I screenshotted everything, every cruel message, every intimate photo, every detailed description of their affair. My hands were steady now. The hurt was transforming into something else entirely, something cold and calculating. By 3 a.m., I had compiled a comprehensive digital portfolio of my wife's betrayal. But I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. I had a better idea. The next morning, Kim acted like nothing had happened. She made her usual smoothie, checked her phone obsessively, and kissed me on the cheek before leaving for work. "Sorry about last night, honey," she said casually. We had a lot to drink. You know how Jessica gets. I smiled and nodded. Don't worry about it. I'm over it. She looked almost disappointed that I wasn't going to make a scene. Okay. Well, I'll be home late tonight. Big project at work. With Rick? I asked innocently. She froze for just a second. Rick and the whole team, yes. After she left, I called in sick to work and got busy. First stop, a private investigator named Sally Martinez that my friend Marty had recommended. Sally was a former cop who specialized in cheating spouses. This is pretty standard stuff, she said, looking through my evidence. But you've done good work here. Very thorough. What's your goal? Divorce proceedings? Something like that, I said. But I want more than just evidence. I want to know everything. Where they go when they meet, who else knows? I want the complete picture. Sally grinned. I like your style. Give me 2 weeks. While Sally worked her magic, I played the perfect husband. I brought Kim flowers, made her favorite dinners, even suggested we take a vacation together. She seemed confused by my sudden attentiveness, but she played along. You're being so sweet lately, she said one evening, curled up next to me on the couch. What's gotten into you? I've been thinking about what Jessica said. I lied smoothly. About being a better husband. Maybe she was right. Maybe I have been taking you for granted. Kim's eyes lit up. Really? Because I've been thinking the same thing. About us, I mean. About whether we're really right for each other. What do you think? I asked, my voice carefully neutral. I think... She paused, choosing her words carefully. I think maybe we've grown apart. Maybe we want different things now. Like what? Like excitement, adventure, passion. She was practically glowing as she spoke. I feel like I'm wasting the best years of my life. I nodded thoughtfully. You should follow your heart, Kim. Life's too short to be unhappy. She looked surprised by my response. I think she was expecting me to fight for her, to beg her to stay. Instead, I was giving her permission to leave. It was clearly not the reaction she wanted. 2 weeks later, Sally delivered her report. It was even worse than I'd imagined. Kim and Rick had been meeting at hotels twice a week for 6 months. They'd taken weekend trips together while I thought Kim was visiting her mother. Rick was married too, and his wife had no idea. But the real bombshell was what Sally had discovered about Rick himself. The man was a complete fraud. His real estate business was failing, he was behind on his mortgage, and he owed money to some very unpleasant people. He was using Kim for her connections and her money that came from our joint accounts. There's more, Sally said, sliding another folder across her desk. Your wife's been stealing from you. Small amounts at first, but it's escalated. She's moved almost $30,000 from your savings into a separate account, an account that Rick has access to. I felt something snap inside me. The betrayal was one thing, but theft. That was crossing a line I didn't even know existed. What are my legal options? I asked. Plenty, Sally said. But if you want my advice, the best revenge is exposure. These people are living in a fantasy. Time to give them a reality check. That night, Kim came home late again, full of excuses about client meetings and deadlines. She was practically vibrating with excitement, probably fresh from another rendezvous with Rick. How was work? I asked casually. Exhausting, she lied. I'm going to take a shower. While she was upstairs, I made my first move. I logged into her social media accounts and found the private group chat with her friends. Then I posted a single message. Hey girls, just wanted to share some exciting news. Rick and I are finally going public with our relationship. I'm so tired of sneaking around. Here are some of my favorite photos from our romantic getaways. I attached a dozen of the most compromising photos from her phone, including several that clearly showed them in hotel rooms. Then I tagged not just her friends, but her co-workers, her family members, and about 50 other people from her contact list. Within minutes, her phone started buzzing like an angry wasp. She came running downstairs, hair still wet from the shower, staring at her screen in horror. "Owen!" she screamed. "What did you do?" I looked up from my book innocently. "What do you mean?" "My social media. Someone hacked my accounts and posted. She couldn't even finish the sentence. "Posted what?" I asked, though I could barely keep the smile off my face. She showed me her phone. The post already had dozens of comments and shares. Her mother had commented, "Kimberly Marie. What is the meaning of this?" Her boss had liked the post. Rick's wife had shared it with the caption, "Well, this explains a lot." "I have no idea how this happened," Kim said, her face pale. "Someone must have hacked my account." "That's terrible," I said sympathetically. "You should probably call Rick. I'm sure he'll know what to do." She tried calling him, but he wasn't answering, probably dealing with his own crisis at home. Over the next few days, Kim's world began to crumble. Her boss called her in for a meeting about maintaining professional standards. Her friends stopped returning her calls. Jessica, surprisingly, was the most brutal of all. "I can't believe you were stupid enough to get caught," Jessica said during one phone call that I overheard. "And dragging the family name through the mud? Mom and Dad are mortified." Rick, meanwhile, had gone completely silent. His wife had apparently kicked him out, and he was staying in a motel across town. His real estate business was imploding as word spread about his affair and his financial troubles. But I wasn't done yet. Not even close. The next phase of my plan required some help from Marty, my ex-cop friend who now worked in private security. Marty had always hated Kim, said she was trouble from the moment he met her. "You want me to do what?" he asked when I explained my idea. "Just follow them around for a few days. Document everything, where they go, what they do. I want to know their entire routine." "Owen, buddy, I think you made your point. Maybe it's time to just file for divorce and move on." "Not yet," I said. "They stole from me, Marty. $30,000. They humiliated me in public, made me feel like nothing. I want them to know what that feels like." Marty sighed, but agreed to help. Within a week, he had a complete dossier on Kim and Rick's remaining activities. They were still meeting, but now they were paranoid and desperate. Rick had lost most of his clients, and Kim was barely hanging on at her job. That's when I decided to attend Rick's open house. He was trying to sell a luxury condo downtown, probably hoping to make enough commission to pay his debts. I showed up dressed nicely, looking like a legitimate buyer. Rick didn't recognize me at first. We'd only met briefly at a few work parties. "This is a beautiful property," I said, walking through the living room. "Great view of the city." "Absolutely," Rick said, his salesman's smile firmly in place. "This unit won't last long on the market. Are you looking to buy or invest?" "Oh, I'm very interested," I said. "In fact, I've been following your work for a while now. I'm particularly impressed with your personal projects." Something in my tone made him look at me more carefully. Recognition dawned slowly. "You're," he started. "Owen Mercer," I said, extending my hand. "Kim's husband. I believe you two are well acquainted." The color drained from his face. "Look, man, I can explain." "No need," I interrupted. "I just wanted to meet the man who's been spending my money. $30,000 to be exact. I hope you enjoyed those hotel rooms." Rick glanced around nervously. There were other potential buyers in the condo, and he couldn't afford to make a scene. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said quietly. "Of course you don't," I said. "Just like you don't know about the money you owe to Tony Ricci's crew." "Yeah, I know about that too. Gambling debts are a bitch, aren't they?" Rick's face went white. Tony Ricci was not someone you wanted to owe money to. "How did you?" "I know a lot of things, Rick. For instance, I know your wife hired a divorce attorney yesterday. I know your business partner is looking to dissolve your partnership. And I know Kim is about to lose her job." "What do you want?" he asked desperately. "I want you to disappear," I said simply. "Leave town. Leave my wife alone. Consider it a generous severance package. And if I don't? I smiled coldly. Then I start sharing some very interesting information with Tony Ricci about where you've been hiding your remaining assets. I'm sure he'd be very interested to know about that offshore account you think nobody knows about. Rick stared at me for a long moment, then nodded slowly. You're not who I thought you were. No, I agreed. I'm not. That evening, Kim came home in tears. Rick had apparently called her and ended things, said he was leaving town and couldn't see her anymore. I don't understand, she sobbed. Everything was perfect. We had plans. We were going to start a new life together. I held her while she cried, stroking her hair gently. I'm sorry, honey. I know how much he meant to you. She pulled back and looked at me with surprise. You're not angry? Why would I be angry? I asked. You followed your heart, just like I told you to. It's not your fault it didn't work out. But I cheated on you, Owen. I stole money from our account. I said terrible things about you to my friends. I know, I said calmly. I've known for weeks. The confession hung in the air between us. Kim's eyes widened as the implications sank in. You knew? And you didn't say anything? I wanted to see how far you'd go, I said. I wanted to know who you really were underneath all the pretense. And now I do. Owen, I can explain. No need, I said, standing up. I've already filed for divorce. You'll be served with papers tomorrow. I've also reported the theft to the police and our insurance company. My lawyer says we have an excellent case. Kim stared at me in shock. You can't be serious. Deadly serious, I said. Oh, and I've taken the liberty of changing the locks. Your things are packed in boxes on the front porch. Jessica said you could stay with her until you figure things out. You bastard! She screamed, her grief instantly transforming into rage. You set me up! You manipulated me! I gave you exactly what you wanted, I said. Freedom to be with Rick. Freedom from our boring marriage. Freedom to follow your dreams. How is that manipulation? She tried to slap me, but I caught her wrist easily. I wouldn't, I said quietly. You're already in enough trouble. Kim left that night, screaming threats and promises of revenge, but we both knew she had no power left. Her reputation was destroyed, her lover was gone, her job was hanging by a thread, and she was facing criminal charges for theft. 6 months later, the divorce was finalized. Kim had to pay restitution for the stolen money, plus legal fees. She lost her job and had to move back in with her parents. Rick had indeed left town, last seen heading west with what little money he had left. As for me, I got a promotion at work, bought a new car, and started dating a wonderful woman named Sarah who actually appreciated my sense of humor. Life was good. The final twist came a year later, when I received a letter from Kim. She was working as a waitress in her hometown, living in a studio apartment, and wanted to work things out. I realize now that you were the best thing in my life, she wrote. I was stupid and selfish, and I threw away something precious. Can we try again? I promise I've changed. I read the letter twice, then threw it in the trash. Some things once broken can never be fixed, and some people never really change. They just get better at hiding who they really are. I learned that the hard way, but it was a lesson worth learning. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even, it's getting better.